It's definitely an honor to be inducted into the CHSAA Hall of Fame. I looked at several of the other inductees and previous inductees, and there are several coaches, people that have had just a tremendous impact in the state of Colorado, and so it means a lot to me to be part of this. Basketball for me started at a really young age. I grew up in a family of swimmers. My brother was a really good swimmer, my sister was a really good swimmer, and so naturally that was kind of where I was headed. And when I was in 3rd or 4th grade, I think I remember sitting on the end of my bed with my mom saying, I don't want to do swimming, I want to play basketball. And at the time I was a very lanky, awkward, young kid, wore the goggles, the knee pads, all the things, and was not very coordinated, and was pretty good at swimming. And so I'm like, you know what, this is what I want to do. And my mom was like, all right, I think you're making a mistake, but if that's what you want to do. I knew that basketball was my sport from a really young age, and I really found my team at Highlands Ranch. Girls that were committed to being the best they could, and had a coach that believed in us and gave us an incredible opportunity to see what we could do. And played and won 2 state championships with Highlands Ranch, and then went through the recruiting process and ended up at the University of Connecticut, where I played for one of the most charismatic, incredible coaches in Gino Auriemma. My freshman and sophomore year there, we won 2 national titles. Weren't expected to do as much, I think. And then I went on to play professionally for 3 years after. Played in the WNBA for Indiana, Atlanta, and Phoenix, and then played overseas in China, Russia, and Spain for 3 years. Loved every second of it. I saw more of the world and traveled and met more people and had just so many experiences that I would never have had without basketball. And now I'm back in Denver. I've got an amazing husband in Jason. We have 3 kids together. My son Jack, who's 7, my daughter Ellie, who's 5, and then we have a son Tyler, who's 1. And now I'm kind of on the other side of basketball, helping coach my son Jack's 2nd grade team. So far it's given me a lot of street cred with the 2nd, 3rd grade boys. But I'm having fun doing that. You have a lot of time when you're playing overseas. And so one of my sister's best friends was part of the Peace Corps, and she was living over in Costa Rica, and she said, the kids here really need something to do. They play soccer because there's fields everywhere, but the more sports, the more things we can do to get them active and get them together, the more community building we can do, the better. And I thought, if you want to, we could build a court here. And so we raised enough money to build a court down in Costa Rica and started a nonprofit called Outward Bounce, where we built a court down there for the kids and for the community to come together and play basketball. Just outwardbounce.org, where you can donate and we can talk about building our next court somewhere else. I played my last season over in China, came back, and I was back in nursing school, and I get a call from Carol Callan down at USA Basketball, and I'd done a couple of USA Basketball things previously, and one of the young women that was playing on the 3-on-3 team had mono, and so she wasn't able to go play on this inaugural 3-on-3 tournament over in Greece. So she asked if I would come take that place of that young woman. So we went over and won a gold medal, and that was kind of the last thing I did professionally. There are a lot of these that are individual awards, like being chosen for the McDonald's All-American game, being WBCA All-American. Those are things that are definitely unique, and I think a lot of people will look at the gear and the things and think that's pretty cool, and I think it is pretty cool. But when I think about the most emotional, the things that meant the most to me, it was definitely winning a national championship. It was definitely being a part of a team where it took so many pieces to come in together to really feel the effect of winning. And so those are the things that stand out in my mind. And we did it twice. I have had a lot of great role models in my life. From a young age, it was definitely my parents. My dad played at the University of Northern Iowa for 1 semester before he had to go away in the Army. But he loved basketball too and grew up in a small town in Iowa, and that was a big part of his life. And they always believed in my dreams, even when I told them when I was really young that's what I wanted to do. They were supportive of that. We lived in Iowa growing up, and so we went to a lot of the University of Iowa basketball games. I was a ball girl for the teams there. Vivian Stringer was there when I was little, and so I watched a lot of her team and her games, and We sat as close as we could and kept score, and were really involved in athletics there. And then I loved the Chicago Bulls, and Michael Jordan was my hero at the time, and so I'd watch him play, and then I'd go outside and play, and my dad would come out with me, and we'd shoot every single day of the year, rain or snow or whatever the weather was. We'd go outside and play basketball. Middle school, high school, that time of year is tough for everybody. Sports provide an opportunity and an outlet for kids to do something really positive. The most important things I learned as a kid growing up always came from sports. And it's learning how to be a teammate, learning how to get through things with people that have different opinions than you, pushing your body and your mind beyond limits that you know you're capable of. And having fun, like doing something you really enjoy and seeing where it takes you.